I'm on the internet. I just got an email from one of you guys, so let's check it out.
You've got mail.
Spooky Boy 123, love it, said, "What is magic? And why even do it? What's the point? LOL." Okay, that's cool. Thanks for the message, I appreciate it. What is magic? What is magic? Again, I'm the Onalock Internet Chaos Wizard. I talk about esotericism, witchcraft, spirituality, occultism, all that stuff. And today we're going to be talking about what is magic, why do it, what's the point. This is a new moon video. This is different from my full moon videos, which are more content lore based. This time, I'm just speaking to you one-on-one, you, me, you're the audience. I'm me. Aleister Crowley defined magic as the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity with the will of the will. Nice. And the will, if you don't understand it, is the power of a human over their immediate environment. So from this perspective, every intentional act could be an act of magic. That's pretty cool. So now here's my definition, because that's the reason you're here, right? Right? Creating change by intentionally using your free will, aka your actions and your words. Magic is boring and it's mundane, but that's what makes it so powerful, right? Think about an instance where a boss yelled at you or a parent yelled at you. How did that make you feel? Someone used their words to create an emotional effect inside of you. And if that's not magic, I don't know what it is. And magic is completely mundane that way. The words that you say can have an effect on other people. People will usually ask me, Onalock, how do you do a money spell? Well, I'll say, go apply for a job. No, for real. What mundane actions or magical actions have you taken to accept this into your reality? That is the most powerful. An analogy I use all the time is what's more powerful when doing a harming spell? Would you rather do a curse that potentially maybe works, takes a couple of months to kick in, or do you just go to their house and beat them up? Obviously, I'm not condoning violence. I'm not saying to beat anyone up or curse anyone. That was just an analogy. But my point is, your immediate actions are going to have better effects in the real world than if you were to say do a spell. And guess what? Under the magical definition of magic, yeah, that is still using magic. It's completely mundane, but it is. And I encourage you guys as homework to go out in the world and find examples of mundane magic. Maybe even yourself. Give someone a compliment and see how they light up. Think of something you want to do and then go and do it. That is boring magic, but that's how magic works. It's using your free will intentionally. So that is what magic is. And obviously you can talk about it in the metaphysical sense of you're working with the universe or the divine to create change in this real world, which is a more complex topic that we can go into further. And if you want me to, talk about it in the comments and maybe I'll respond. So now let's get into why do magic. And there's a few reasons that people do it. Usually it's to create change, it's to receive something, revenge, spiritual ascension, or natural curiosity. These are reasons that I have found that people want to get into doing magic. Number one, people are unhappy with their present circumstance, so they'll look towards magic to change that. Whether it's doing spells to change your reality or manifest or shift into a potentially different, better world that you want to live in, right? That's one way people get into it. They're unhappy with where they are. And again, I'm encouraging you to think of mundane ways you can achieve that. Is it by looking for another apartment or by setting boundaries with people you live with? Magic is boring, I know. Next, wanting something, wanting to receive something, money or love. These are comments I get all the time. How do you do a money spell? How do you do a love spell? Even though I don't really know if love spells are ethical, but it's usually because people want something that they don't have. And that's another reason why people enter the craft. Another one is revenge. So you have been wronged or you were cheated on or something happened to you that was bad and therefore you want to make other people suffer. That's up to you on whether or not you do that. This is a major thing that I see, and this is why Etsy witches, their businesses are booked, all right? Because people want revenge on ways they've been harmed. And usually there is a valid reason for that, whether they were bullied or physically harmed or even emotionally harmed. People want to seek justice. And I think that's fair, even though sometimes there are healthier ways than cursing people to deal with that. But, you know, to each their own. And then spiritual ascension. I talked about before enlightenment and that being like an Eastern idea of ascension over, our material world and all that stuff. And then there's crossing the abyss in like Western esotericism, which is pretty much trying to speed run your spiritual ascension. So instead of doing it through multiple lifetimes, you can try to get it done in like this lifetime or the next, and then you're done. And that's why you might use magic. Different magic systems, I would say, that help with spiritual ascension are alchemy, astrology, transmutation, and shadow work. Those are basic examples, mainly turning your bad experiences or bad habits into more productive ones to reach a sort of spiritual ascension or reaching a place of neutrality with characteristics that you might have. I don't know, stuff like that. And then natural curiosity. A lot of people that get into the craft or become a practitioner is because they had a curiosity about it, they were drawn to it, whether that means there was someone in your lineage or an ancestor that had practiced before, or you were just a kid and you were messing around and you liked the idea, or you watched Harry Potter and you're like, I want to do that. There are many different ways that people have had natural curiosity, but for me, it's a curiosity I've had since I was a child that has always pulled at me into my present life. And now look at me. Now I'm an internet wizard, so look at where that turned out. So those are different reasons to do magic. The ones that I focus on are spiritual ascension. I'm trying to make the most out of this lifetime. I don't necessarily want to be like cursing and hexing people just for revenge, because I think that'll sort themselves out. I do, however, try to change my present reality into a more productive one. And also, sometimes I want to receive money. Like, is there a problem with that? Listen, in this economy with these gas prices, I think we all could use a little bit of money magic, okay? Okay, so we talked about what is magic, why do magic, and now I want to leave you off with the importance of meditation. There are multiple ways you can meditate, but I'm specifically talking about training your mind to be still. And it's training. They call meditation a practice because it's not something everyone's good at immediately. And there are so many benefits to meditation. One, mental health. It will help you get out of negative thought loops, anxiety, depression thought loops. This is why I've leaned on meditation, is for my own mental health, to realize that I am not my thoughts. I am something much more than a depressed chud. Also, boredom is a tool, right? Most of us nowadays, I'm guilty as well, is constantly surrounded by noise. Whether the TV's on, whether music's on, whether you're scrolling on your phone, or there's people around. When have you taken the time to generally be alone and sit in silence? Because even when you do, you usually get bored and start scrolling. Or if you are, thoughts start surfacing that maybe you are uncomfortable with. And this is where we could talk about shadow work, but I might save that for another new moon episode. Usually, negative emotions or thoughts start to surface as you kind of spend some time alone and thinking of nothing. I didn't do the dishes. Someone yelled at me today and it made me feel this, or I wish I had this, blah, blah, blah. Your mind starts to wander. And in certain meditation practices, I'm thinking of more Eastern traditions, they call this the monkey mind. It's that animal part of our brain that still has to think of something. So the moment that you do sit down to meditate, your brain jumps over here and starts thinking about your dirty dishes and starts climbing this branch over here and thinks about the way that you peed yourself in 3rd grade, or starts climbing over here and starts thinking about how your crush in high school called you ugly. These are just examples, who knows? But your mind is jumping from branch to branch over here and over there, constantly keeping you distracted from the point of meditation, which is trying to have a still, calm mind. And meditation doesn't mean you're thinking of nothing at all. It just means you have focus on something, like your breath or a candle flame or numbers, or I don't know, go crazy. So the practice of meditation is telling your monkey mind to calm the fuck down. One way you can do this is by imagining your mind to be a clear sky. And as thoughts come in, they are like clouds. But all you're supposed to do is acknowledge the cloud and let it drift by your mental screen. So when you sit in silence, that mind might want to act up and start saying, hey, look over here, think about this. You acknowledge it, you come back to where you are and you let it drift off. Another one shows up, acknowledge it, come back to where you are and let it drift off. And that is one way you can train your mind to be more still. So again, circling back, why even do meditation at all? Well, mental health, also just training your mind. It's all great stuff. But as I've talked about in my last video, how to make a ward, gnosis is a very important part of at least chaos magic. And gnosis, in the definition of chaos magic, is to reach a meditative state of extreme focus in order to alter your subconscious brain. So what that is saying is you enter this meditative state to create changes in your reality, aka do magic. So the only way you get good at that and therefore better at your magic as a skill is to meditate. And that's where we'll leave off today. These new moon videos aren't gonna be crazy, and this is the first one. And also, if you have any questions or comments or thoughts about, what is magic, why do magic, or the importance of meditation, please leave your own thoughts in the comments down below. Obviously, subscribe to help me out. And if you want to talk to me after hours, join the Discord. Link is in the bio. Exclusive content on Patreon. You know the drill. Guys, I will see you on the full moon.